Yo, what's up, Kamo? How you doing? Hopefully good. We're just gonna unwind with some mindless slaying of some monsters in Final Fantasy. Yo. Didn't miss much. A previous sweep of the high and previous day sweep of the high kind of rejection. Yeah, it looks like a pretty hard rejection. I was trying to find out, like I was looking at when that Cthulhu game comes out, and one already came out actually. And I was like, wait, how did I miss this? And I was trying to figure out how to buy it. But yeah, I'll figure it out after the stream. Apparently it's already out. It's like Cthulhu the Cosmic Abyss. It's like a science fiction set in the future where they're like drilling under the ocean and they find Relaya by accident. And everyone on the station goes, of course, crazy, like kind of Event Horizon type thing. It was pretty wild. Well, it was like they opened up a dimension to hell or whatever. I didn't like the, other than it being cosmic horror, it wasn't really that deep or anything. Yeah, I remember there was one where the DJ at a party had like CDs in his head. Yeah, those were some odd ones. You could tell like the special effects artists really loved to make their gory costumes. What type of dreams? That's weird. I don't like those. Damn. That's pretty damn close. What does that mean? Into war crimes. Like we're gonna, like, turn it into a war crime?
Tell me I'm too late. Quentin, are you all right?
No, but I am alive. Which is more than I can say for my comrades. They followed me without question all the way here. And they died. For nothing.
That's... yeah.
This must be the guard dog. Quentin. I'll hold it off. You go.
But...
your comrades didn't die for nothing. They died for you. Don't let their sacrifice be in vain.
I won't.
Come on, then. You're no guard dog. You're just a rabid beast that needs to be put down.
Do.
If only we'd arrived earlier. Is it over?
It is. He wept and begged for mercy. And I cut him from ear to ear. Just as I dreamed of doing all these years. All my plans. Building a haven in Lostwing. Freeing bearers from their chains and recruiting them to my cause. It was all for this. But what is this? Justice? My faithful comrades. All those lives lost. So that I might take another.
Quentin.
Master Quentin! Oh, thank Grieger you're safe.
You? You're alive.
And so are you. I'm so sorry. I tried to warn you about that thing. And I hate to say it, but there's more bad news. It's Lost Wing. It's been flooded.
What? Lost Wing. My Lost Wing.
And look who's here.
They must have stolen in after we left, just before the flood struck. What if there are still people in there?
Don't be a fool. Damn it. Quinton's not going to last long in there. Come on, Torgal. We need to make this quick. I need to get back to Quentin. Quentin! Quentin! Look at me! Thank the Founder. He hasn't turned. I'm going to get you out of here.
I can agree with that.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
Is Lostwing?
The flood has filled the valley.
I see. Then all is at an end. A strange way to achieve one's life's ambition.
No, Master Quentin. Save your strength.
Why? All that I strove for is gone.
Yeah, that was weird.
Only emptiness remains.
And then everyone that hates him just references that all the time. Just like, he has 30 felonies.
What the heck are you on about? You've got
He's
us
the
and Jack.
felon.
Don't try telling me you're only free to so you could get revenge. We're more than that to you, and we all know it.
I thought you weren't coming back. But I prayed, and you did. There's got to be a reason for that, right? Can't we just go back to how it was? You know, you looking after us all.
Your work ain't over yet, Master Quentin. We believed that you were the right man to lead us, and we still do. Your village may be lost, but it seems your people aren't, so long as you remain to guide them.
But why? After what why would anyone follow me?
Because we're family,
Beep, beep.
aren't we?
Family?
Yeah, and all our
Wawooga.
comrades with you, they felt the same. Lostwing weren't just a village.
We're going back to
It was all
1920.
of us.
It was. And as long as we're still here, it is too.
We can start again. Build a new Lostwing, right here in the Bales.
Probably,
A fresh start.
yeah, I was gonna say.
One life ends.
He's like, let me just crank this up before we crank ourselves up.
We could build towns. A nation, even. What's to stop us?
That's the Master Quentin we know.
Please. I am nobody's master. Quentin. will
He's like,
suffice.
why do they call it
After
the
all,
Model T
we are
when I
fellows.
got a Model D right here?
Permit me to withdraw my request. I will no longer be needing your help in looking after my people.
I'll pretend you never asked.
There's nothing wrong
But
with
you must
video
be rewarded
games.
for your efforts on our behalf. You saved my life twice over. And more besides.
A bottle or two of your finest red will suffice.
Of course. Nothing but the best. And I have a feeling that this year's vintage will be the finest.
Apparently in China,
If you don't mind waiting.
there's like
I look
a
forward to
truck
it.
simulator where they just run people over in the truck simulator. It's fun for them. It's like trendy. Yeah. What? What? It's like oh, is that the one with Mr. Bean or whatever? Or is that a different race movie? Hmm? Hidden. Hold on, let me see what this looks like. Hold up. Gotta toggle screens here. What's that? The Hidden. Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down for that. I can watch it without, you know, spoiling it. I remember I did that with The Matrix in high school. Like, nobody, it was before the internet, before spoilers or anything. You're just like, what is The Matrix? It's like, I remember it's like, you have to see it to know what it is. And then, like, it was one of those phenomenons where you just go in and you're like, what the heck? And you realize you just witnessed something like, you know, generational. Fight Club was like that too. Is this the actual movie? Can I just watch that? Oh snap! I'll check it out. The Hidden. One of those movies that was pretty good, like that you can't really spoil or talk about, like that is The Prestige. That was one of those where it's like you just gotta tell people to watch it. Oh yeah. Yeah, they did a good job at building that up. That was like one of those rare phenomenons, like that, you know, it was a one of it, you know, it was low budget. They made you think it was like found or whatever.
Which song should we...
So, did you have that word with Tomes then?
I did, and he was as helpful as ever. He told me exactly where to look, in fact.
Ooh, lovely.
And what precisely will I be cooking up? Or is it better not to know?
I can find it.
Blueback wyvern liver. And, a herb.
Yeah.
Known as Saint's Bonnet.
Ah, wyvern livers, was it? Well, at least it weren't actual worms, I suppose. Now then, you
What's
stay right
up?
where you are. I've got some cooking to do. Let's hope these grand old chefs of yore knew what they were on about. And here we have it. Fried
Yowzers.
mortress of skyworm. Ivan's offered to make sure it's fit for consumption. Well, I say offered. He as good as begged.
And rightly so.
Is there any higher honor than partaking in a slice of culinary history?
So, not fit for consumption then?
What witchery is this? The crackle of the crust gives way to an almost violent richness. Yet, it is the piquant kiss of the saints.
They might
blood
have it.
that
I'll
tames
look
this
around. I'll
savage
find it.
dish. It is a tour de force. A force of nature, even. A maelstrom of flavor and sensation. A graceful beast emerging from centuries of slumber. I think he likes it.
Well, I can't quite tell with all that nonsense he's talking. I reckon you might be right. It was decent then, I take it.
Decent? It's remarkable. And I defy any man to say a word to the contrary. Sid, might I suggest that you command a party of your finest men and women
With what?
to procure a dozen
Like
blue-white
spoiling
wyverns
stuff?
forthwith? I'll give it some thought.
Yeah.
Cole said it was an army of Akashic. What will happen to Mid and the others?
With Doctor Strange, wasn't it? And the multiverse. I liked it. My son loved it too.
Thank goodness you're back. Tired
Was
as
it
like
Sam
about to
Raimi
collapse.
or?
Is this what you needed?
I think so. Yeah,
Yes,
like
it
Army
is.
of Darkness and
Thank you,
whatnot.
Clive. I'm loath to give a patient Alicia, but
So he always had like
Clive
comedic
is right.
like
Sometimes
ways of,
it's all
you know,
proper.
handling it, but
A single dose dulls even the most agonizing pain, and all other sensation with it. It may be a gentle way to die, but it is death nonetheless. I wish there was another way.
it's already been 5 years. Damn.
How are you feeling?
I just don't find her
Right.
attractive at all, man.
Drifting on waves.
Good. Just relax.
No offense,
Let the
but I mean,
waves
like, yeah,
carry you
I
to a
can
better
find,
place.
you know, different chicks attractive. They don't need to be of a certain ethnicity or anything, but just her personally, I don't find her attractive at all.
Proud of you.
She has like a unibrow, doesn't she? It, I, I always thought her eyebrows were a bit thick, but
He's gone. Thank you, Rodrigo. And you, Clive?
I'll see that he's properly laid to rest.
The man you helped today was my mentor, back in the Southern Isles, on the front lines of some meaningless war. I was still a child when they shipped me to their triage tents, to treat the wounded with my gift. But in such blighted lands, I was next to useless. Until he taught me the true physicker's art, that is.
An art we would be lost without.
Tears of mercy were his gift to the bearers of the world. A respite from the agony of the curse's end.
And a kindness Sid would have approved of.
You know as well as I what life is like for a bearer soldier. Marched from one battle to the next. Never knowing
Tigo
which way they
biddies.
lost. A commander may care nothing for the bearer spent in his service. But my mentor's gift gave the dying one fleeting moment of tranquility before the end. I've no tears left, Clive. I've seen too many of my friends taken. Something needs to change. And we need to be the ones to change it.
And we will. I promise.
why do they
hope
do
so.
that, man? That reminds me of one movie I went to. Like in high school, I went to like this movie called Insomnia. I think it was with Robin Williams or something, but I ended up falling asleep in the movie. And my friend woke me up afterwards, like, how ironic is that?
Clive, I wanted to give you something for the kindness you showed my mentor.
What's this?
A chest of all the medicines you're
Yeah,
ever
I
likely to
remember
need.
we like
Seeing as
smoked
you're
up in
so
his car
reluctant to
before
come to
we
the
went to it,
infirmary,
so I got too
I thought
high
you
and
might
just
as well
passed
take a
out.
part of the infirmary with you.
I'm sure it will be very helpful indeed. And Taya, try not to work too hard.
And work Rodrigo all the harder, you mean? He's a quick study, but he's got a long way to go yet. I'll take that particular piece of advice when you heed it yourself, thank you very much. Besides, who else is going to see that your brother takes his medicine?
Who indeed?
Cole said it was an army of a Ashik. What will happen to Mid and the others?
If it's knowledge you seek, we've tomes aplenty to guide you in your search.
Those tomes wouldn't happen to have letters in them, would they?
So what do I owe the honour? Not saying fortune, do you?
We got 8 minutes.
Hopefully it's nothing. But I should speak to Blackthorn just in case. Blackthorn, do you have a moment?
Not really, no.
This won't take long. I just wanted to ask how you're getting on. August was worried about you, and you might still be doubting your craft, even after learning the trick of that cuirass. Is there something else weighing on your mind? Perhaps sharing your thoughts might help.
That bastard's like a dog with a bone. That. Well, Karen showed me something. Something I've never
Western.
seen before. An odd-looking thing with a single edge blade. The metal itself wasn't anything to write home about, but fuck me, the edge on it. You could slice a man clean in two with a weapon like that, and he'd be halfway home before he even realised he'd been cut.
So that's what's troubling you?
Nah. Not troubling me exactly. More distracting. Can't stop thinking, how do you get an edge that sharp? It's driving me mad.
And if you knew how to do it, we could arm the curse breakers with even better blades.
That's about the size of it, yeah.
I'll see what I can find out. Sharper swords are always welcome. And we can't have our master blacksmith being distracted.
You're a soft touch, you know that. But I can't say I'm not grateful for it. Good luck, eh?
Thank you. Let's see what Karen knows about this sword. You're looking well, Karen.
What you want? Out with it.
I want to know about the sword you showed Blackthorn. Single-edged and extremely sharp.
Running around after him again, are you?
I suppose I am, yes. But I need to help him find out how to work an edge like that. It's driving him to distraction.
Little wonder, I suppose. There's not many like that.
That AI movie was like that. Like the little boy gets frozen under the statue and you're like, it's not over? And then it's like 10,000 years later, the aliens dig him up.
You think I tell people who my clients are?
I'm like, Spielberg, what are you doing?
To go nicking him off me, are you now? Fine. If you stop mooning at me like that. Lord Ignac's the man you want. Dalmekian bloke. Collects weapons.
Yeah, that was like pretty accurate to where we're headed in terms of just, you know, robots and stuff, but he should have stopped it with the boy being just frozen under the statue. That would have been more apt, I guess. Leave it up to interpretation.
I appreciate the warning.
If it's knowledge you seek,
The open ending has a lot more like ways of, you know, echoing outward to each individual more. He wrapped it up in a bow tie with Minority Report too. It was like he could have stopped it at a certain stage, but it's like, in case you're wondering, this is what those like precogs are doing now. They're on the they're on the beach. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Wouldn't be surprised. So why can't I find that on the store? That's one thing that doesn't make sense. Corbin. Uh-oh. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Got 10 seconds. Here we go. Wow. Wowzers. What was that? Talk about jittery timbers. Oh, that hurt. Yep. We went down to settlement at 7:48. Down at settlement. Yep. If it gets above those sellers at 765, it'd be good, but otherwise they're getting accepted until they otherwise don't. But I can see the theory because that's kind of what I do is those little scoops, but I took that sweep long, but needed to get above that last inflection point at 765 to be real happy. Otherwise, setting my stop here. I'm in a long right now. That sweep of 454 coming up on that for only 187 is like, But I'm still not, like I said, till it comes above 765. Basically just trailing the bottom of that sweep. Good. New York City. Unfortunately, in Japan, we'll see. It needs to get above 765 for me to be happy. Otherwise, seller acceptance. I'm mentally divergent in that I'm escaping certain unnamed realities that plague my life here. I'm still long too. Now I'm able to put it at break even. Should come back. I would like for it to accelerate. All right. Money, money, money. All right, we got some sellers that stepped up here. 150 plus 60 here. About to get slingshot by the looks of it if it stays above 768. Slingshot. Or not. Sounds like a plan. Okay, I'm basically watching this now. Don't know what it's gonna do. It's like, it's... So ES is breaking out of the little mini range it's in while NQ is still here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping for it to rip too. All right. Yeah, I did too. Let's go. Pump up the jam, pump it up. Nice. You can do it. That was nice. But you see what I mean? Like, you have a bunch of sellers at these, like, bottoms that get kind of exhausted, and then you come up on them. It's like, I'm not married to the idea, but you see it enough times and you're like, I'm not going to short that. You know, like, I wasn't looking to short, I was looking to long, because I've seen it enough times where it's like, you know, it kind of rewards playing the opposite hand. Well, like, it pulled back and retested the range and into like 500 delta, negative 500, and then it pushed up above that with 200 delta. So it's like the sellers got hit, but then it didn't do anything and went back to the same price with less delta. So it's like it didn't require as much delta to push up as it was trying to push down, and so that appears as weakness, you know. So it's like, yeah, it was, yeah, yeah, nice. Now we're coming up to the range where we drop down on the jitter of open. Mm-hmm. We got 3 minutes on. Yep. Have a good one. Yep. Have a good one. So we got like 2 minutes on the hourly. It's turning out to be bullish. A wick. This is the volume point of control at 811. So it's gonna probably like chill out here and kind of idiot box, or I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't necessarily seeing, I mean, I was seeing the delta in that way, but I didn't see like 100 stacked buyer per se, like a singular entity or whatever. Yeah, I wasn't seeing like a singular entity, but I was seeing in the 2000 tick auction itself being delta aggressive to a certain degree, but it wasn't like a singular person or buy order. It's within the 2000 trades of that candle. That's why I look at the individual, because it's like I can distinguish between that. Okay. Just had like a 84 lot seller, some 84 lot buyer at 837. Are we gonna get some like buyer exhaustion here? I don't know. Some more buyers at 837 that just jittered away from. It's a stacked order because somebody else did 87 there at 837. Say what? With cookies? Oh. Yeah, they don't have as much. I'm taking this seller acceptance idea. I'm already trailing my short. Oh, snap, getting paid. Trailing it. If it jitters up, I'm out. Not really trying. Yeah, I'm out. It's like, whatever. I'm just trying. Yeah. That's when I first did a toss, I was using the big trades thing, but then it was like, why don't I just learn how to look at the trades themselves? So I just like, rather than, consolidate it, I just look into the candles and get used to reading what's happening on that end. That's why I have it all on the left there. And then the zoom out is in the center because it's like, you could see the context of the highs and the lows of where we're hitting and the volume nodes. And then I could see into the candle on the left. So I'm basically like I'm creating the big trades thing with my inflection points with my own eyeball. So it's like I don't want to use somebody else's calculation because sometimes it gets wonky or whatever. And I'm like, why did it put that there? Like I did notice that when I was doing big trades, and I'm like, why did it circle that and then not this? Like there's times it'll say on my big trades things, it'll have this 100 lot and then it won't have anything else. And I'm like, yeah, but there were others in that. What's that about? It's like the calculation goes wonky or something. Right, but that's why I look at the delta down below too, because if I don't see anything like over 50-ish, like just a bunch of 20s, 10s, like the last 2000 tick candle, I can see that it was positive 280 delta. So that entire 2000 trades was positive 280 buyers. So it's like I can basically see inside the auction of who's buying and who's selling, even if there's nothing significant to look at in terms of individual players. You could look at buyer acceptance if you're expecting like a leg up based on where we are. Like if this doesn't seem like it would be like I was taking a burst, which is why I shorted and took it quick because I wasn't expecting much. Just like uh, like some short pullback kind of. But yeah, it happens in legs, so. And then there's like the FU. There's like sometimes where it does this FU burst up and there's nothing inside it and then it totally retraces on that. I'm like, "Oh, that was a stop hunt for anyone short because they're on sides." And then like I use that as like a confirmation of a theory too. Like it depends like what happens in like the rejection or whatever, whether there's like volume attached to it or it hits somebody at the tippy top. Yeah. I see 133 at 866, 97 at 860, 97 seller. That was the other thing with the big trades thing, because I think it like separates the bid and the ask, or it like puts the delta of the in between, where it would be like the total volume is 156 or whatever, but this is pretty aggressive. There's so to the delta on either side is the passive guy on the other side. So like imagine I'm punching you in the face. There's the person who's punching and the person who's receiving the punch. So no matter what side you're punching at, there's the other limit guy executing the same order on the opposite side. Always. So there's always a passive seller and a passive buyer, and there's always an aggressive seller and an aggressive buyer. And that's the delta represents the aggressive buyer and seller. And there's always going to be another passive party to that. So there's always 4 participants. There are times it skips in the candle and you'll just see 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And that's like because there's no liquidity at that level. And that's what the volume imbalance is there's nothing there. So it's going to the next point where there is volume. And then if you see one on one side with nothing on the other, that's like what they call an unfinished auction, because it's like hitting like 100 on one end, like a liquidated person, and that's it. This was a value area high retest and re-entry of value area high. So I did short that 133 buyer at 866. I'm not sold on it till it kind of moves with aggression, but I'm contemplating putting up my defense here in a moment. I'm putting it up now, actually. At break even. Okay. Because it should just accelerate away if it's real, so... Just gonna stop my trailing. Or not. Not yet. My trailing's at 861, so if it goes with 861, I'm out. Doobie doobie doo. And I have both. I'm out. There's 133 that was buying at 866.25 on the first push up, and then we pushed up to 877 and came back, and then that's when I went short. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. All right. Yeah, the fact that it's not breaking below 848, it's like, it looks like it's on a mission to clear the highs or something. What is... Yeah. That's cool. I shorted that guy again. My stop's in profit. I'm just gonna trail a little bit just to pay the fees if it pops up. Hitting some sellers here is probably some longs getting stopped. All right, now we're getting paid. Took a bit, took 2 attempts because they did that little FU, but when it came below, I just re-engaged. I was a little bit late on the entry. It was like 860, but I was like, it's doing the thing I was theorizing, so why don't I just hit it? All right, now I'm trailing this more aggressively, just locking in whatever it's going to give at this point. That was 800 bucks. It's $1,000 total for that. Took a little bit longer than I had wanted, but yeah, patience. I could have just gone long, but I was like not sure where it was gonna aim at, you know. Okay, that's basically it. I'm gonna try to figure out how to buy that Cthulhu game because it's not showing up on the Japanese PlayStation store, but it's supposed to have been out from the 16th. So I might have to buy a physical copy. I prefer the physical copy, but I don't see it listed. It's weird. Cthulhu Cosmic Abyss. Yeah, it's like a alone in the dark kind of like detective horror that it's very Cthulhu style, but it's set in the future, so but like that whole like cosmic horror style where it's like you end up opening a rift to another dimension of evil and it's like deeper than you imagine, you know, that's very Lovecraft. And then the fact that it's like you're finding the city where Cthulhu's from, like the lost city of Relaya or whatever, and it's like set in like a futuristic sense, like they mine too deep kind of thing. Seems like an interesting premise. Oh, that's definitely Cthulhu, because that's when Lovecraft wrote all that stuff in the 1920s. He's the father of all horror. Like, all survival horror is from him. That's why I love Cthulhu the best, because it's like he wrote the whole suspense genre before it was even a genre. And it's like more about what you don't see that makes it scary, you know, because your imagination fills the gap. Oh, that's definitely Lovecraft. He loves Massachusetts. Right. Yep. That's Yep, that's it. Like in the role-playing game Call of Cthulhu that's based on his work, you have like sanity points and you roll to lose sanity points as you play cuz the more you encounter these things, you lose your sanity. So and then the best it's like you know how like in a horror genre like where five teenagers only two survive and they both have broken legs and traumatized and they were hurt and that's the happy ending, you know? That's from his work cuz it was always like in a campaign of like five people, like three of you are going to die at least. And so you never expect to like make it like you make your character, but you don't expect them to survive. It's kind of like comedy. And then you know, how are they gonna die, for example? Like there was one tabletop RPG game I played of this with a bunch of friends, and then like uh we were investigating this house where this horse livestock started going missing and we found like slime everywhere, but it turned out there was like this slime entity living in the basement and it was like embedding itself into the house and it didn't like salt and we knew that much and then like it started to as the peak of the climax of the act started to unfold like this one guy who was in World War One with like cavalry and horses has a fear of horses and the dead horse shows up in the slime in the on the stairs like in the and he like has to roll for sanity and he fails so he falls into the slime and it's just like he had one fear and it was horses and the missing horse comes back and it was like in the campaign it was supposed to do that so it was like he had the worst possible situation happen to him at that worst possible moment and then he just freezes and falls into the slime but everyone was cracking up because it was just like that typical like the dude with the fear of horses has to deal with the horse. But yeah, it's like one of those like yeah, it's a fun game. It's all public domain and his story's kind of like what do you call it? Tragic like Mozart cuz like nobody knew him when he was alive and he wrote all these works and then they became public domain and he became famous after and like Resident Evil and all these games just use his elements of storytelling to tell their you know, like the whole umbrella corporation, you always learn more stuff, but you never know what it's really about. Like that whole like the more you know you don't know kind of thing. That's his style. So like the lore, like all the monsters in Cthulhu, like there's just so many. Like there's Nyarlathotep, the shape-shifting crawling chaos that's been around since Egyptian times and stuff and brings about the end of ages for man. It's like you got all these yeah. They got a bunch of these like weird entities. That Cthulhu Cosmic Abyss is just one of them, but I have one I played recently called Alone in the Dark, which was a remake of a 1992 game, which spawned the whole survival horror genre. It was like a remake of that, but yeah, they have a bunch of the Call of Cthulhu is the tabletop RPG that you can kind of like run campaigns with your friends, like analog, like Dungeons and Dragons, you know. So I would do that with my friends, and then I have all these books about how to run those campaigns and stuff. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, so you played the, the prime evil, like master of horror, like storyline without even knowing it. Like that's the Cthulhu thing. I kind of fell out with games when I came to Japan. I'm only recently getting back into it, but I've been away from them for like 2 decades. Kind of. I know you have to go hunt bosses and explore like dungeons and stuff like that. That's about it. Yeah. Yeah. I know that there's survival kind of action RPG kind of things where you like have to do parry and a bunch of like I've watched people playing things like that and they have a genre where they say souls like, it's like a type of style or whatever. Getting a bunch of sellers here, by the way. If it accepts them, we could have another leg down, but sorry, continue. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I can dig it. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. I just love like I love paying homage to like the founder of that type of thing and the fact that he was writing like about dimensional entities back in the 1920s like he was he describes like non-Euclidean geometry and like these like fractal like cyclopean towers, and the way he talks is really weird, but what he's describing is like, you know, dimensional rifts and like people finding these like ancient monoliths that summon these things from not even our plane of reality. Like Hellboy is straight up like using that, like Benicio del Toro really, what not Benicio, but Guillermo del Toro is like super into Cthulhu. Like you can tell from his like monster design and all his stories, like Pan's Labyrinth and everything. Like he's definitely into that. But yeah, it's like an aesthetic, you know. It's like this kind of like you don't want to know, and even just getting 1% there is like enough to break a man's soul, kind of. You know, it's like a dimension of, and it's not even like they're evil. Like Azathoth is like one entity that is just the entire dimension is him. You know, like in Doctor Strange, it's like the what is that? That guy in the first movie that he tries to beat, Dormammu or whatever. Yeah, that's Azathoth. So, like, the Marvel writers obviously read Cthulhu, so they just bite off the public domain of, like, things like that, where it's just like the entire dimension is that guy. So he just wants to get into our dimension and corrupt it. And, like, you know, there's a freaky movie with Nicolas Cage called A Color Out of Space. And it's like, what the hell does that mean? A color out of space? And it's like an entity that is not from our dimension that crashes here on an asteroid, but it starts to corrupt everything around it because it's not in the same physics as us. So it's not even trying to harm on purpose. It's just not meant to be here. So like things start, like it'd be like you were tripping out and things just get distorted. And then this like mother and her son are like sleeping on the sofa and they like merge together and become this weird hybrid. They didn't mean to, obviously, but it's like that it starts fucking with the physics and the spatial relations and everything. And it was like, Mom, help, what's happening? And it's just like really fucked up. But it's like enough to make you think about, yeah, like if we ran into an alien, what if it was just so foreign we can't even comprehend, you know, you could let alone communicate. Like we assume it's going to be like humanoid, like I come in peace. But what if it doesn't even know what we are? It's just like, what's this fucking thing? And just exploring is wreaking havoc. That was Stephen King, I think. Yeah, that's definitely Cthulhu. Uh-huh. Yeah, everyone kind of has like their wink, their nod to him. And that's why I respect it, because it was like he went away, like he never lived knowing people would know his work ever. Like he was pretty much not that known. I mean, he submitted his work to like science fiction digests and things, but he was never like super rich or anything. So it was like he just came and went, and then later everyone's like, damn, this dude was writing some fire. Yeah, I mean, he was like there, and he has this one series called The Dreamlands, which I like, which is like there's like this bridge to the dream world that you can tangibly get to and stuff. And it's like you can go down these steps in your imagination and open the door and go there. And it's like if you imagine it, you can kind of get there. And it's like I made a campaign once with this like 1920s campaign of like these homeless people were disappearing, and they were basically getting their farms, their souls farmed on heroin as they like farmed them in the dreamlands. And there was this like entity in the dreamlands trying to like, you know, collect souls, and it needed them to go to the dreamlands, and you have to go to the dreamlands through this like record playing backwards and stuff. It was a pretty cool campaign. I made it all from pieces that I found in other campaigns and made my own custom one. So it's like you learn how like stories are told, and you can kind of like take elements from here and add it, and I added like some like, you know, cults that were behind it, and then the thing orchestrating it was Nyarlathotep, like wanting to cause chaos. But yeah, like you make all these, I made all these like routes, these paths people could take, but like you don't know which path they're going to choose, so they don't have to go. Like there's, if you really want to get into that like kind of rolling the dice, playing by yourself aspect, or what is Call of Cthulhu, there's this book called like Alone Against the Frost or Alone Against the Tide. I recommend Alone Against the Tide first. Here, let me find it on Amazon. It's like a solitaire campaign you can play with yourself, and it's like choose your own adventure. You turn to the page based off your choice. Hold up. I have like 4 of them. I have Alone Against the Static, Alone Against the Dark, Alone Against the Tide. You can't use choose your own adventure, so it's called Alone Against the Tide. It's only $13. It's not bad. But you need like D20 unless you want to digitally roll on your computer or something. But Chaosium is the group that does the Call of Cthulhu thing. But this takes place in Boston, or like island in Massachusetts. Yeah. Like once you know the aesthetic, you know when someone's giving the nod to Cthulhu, even if it doesn't have it in the name. Retest the lows? Good question, Trader Joe. Yeah, we're establishing like volume here, and I'm not sure whether it's gonna accept this and retest. You're getting like some inflection points, like 100 lots here at the 841s. 150 seller at 841. You previously pushed down by 500 delta and then pushed up just now by 300 delta, but rejected. So yeah, if we spiked out above the high to reject, are we gonna go retest the low here? We're kind of, who knows? But yeah, they got the whole Alone Against the ones. Like they have some cool like campaign books that when you read the lore of them, it just sparks your imagination. Like they have this one, what's that Cthulhu? They have this one in like Tibet. Cthulhu, Tibet. What is that? Yeah. It was like, I'm trying to find the campaign. I was gonna buy it, but it's like, fuck. Children of Fear. So they have these campaigns written by people, and it's like they they kind of like take elements, and you see how these people write it. And then so I take elements from, like, I have a bunch of these books on my shelf over here, like of those type of campaigns. Like I have Sinister Secrets of Cthulhu cults, and it has like all of the cults that would exist in these 1920s things, and like how they would operate and what their hierarchies are like. So I can incorporate that into a campaign or whatever. We are going to end the stream here, gentlemen, so we will catch you tomorrow. Trade